I scaled my agency to $1.28 million a year while removing myself from the business and only focusing on growth and my strengths. I actually started this agency when I was still in high school and I was 18 years old. Since then, I've been blessed to work with some of the biggest brands online. I've been invited by 8-figure entrepreneurs to go ahead and talk about email marketing, and collectively for all of our clients, we've made over $100 million in email revenue. And not only have I scaled my own business to $1 million a year, but I've also been part of many other businesses that have scaled to 7 figures as well. And when it comes down to scaling an email business, scaling an agency in general, it comes down to what I call the 3 S's of scale that you need in order to actually scale sustainably. So I've actually made a very detailed presentation, and I worked so hard on this, guys. Put a lot of effort into this to show you guys exactly what I did in order to scale. Also cover what the 3 S's are. Again, guys, hope you guys know that it wasn't always like this, because there were so many times in my agency journey where I wanted to quit. I was struggling to get clients. I was struggling to, manage a team. But one day I sat down and I got very clear on what my dream agency looks like. And since then, I was able to reverse engineer and get to a point where I am running my dream agency. The presentation kind of covers everything, and I don't want to waste your time anymore. So let's go ahead and get to the presentation. All right, guys, so we are inside of my computer now, where we're going to go over this presentation that I have made for you guys. Guys, I put a lot of effort into this as well. I worked a couple of days on making this presentation. So please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But let's get right into the presentation on how I scaled my agency to this level. Trust me, guys, it was not always like this. I went through many struggles that you guys can relate to. Many times in my journey, I've almost quit as well, right? And these are some of the struggles that I went through, and these are some of the old ways I was doing things that were just not correct. I wasn't signing clients consistently out of my agency. I wanted to keep a high profit margins because that's what I thought was the right thing. So I would hire very cheap, VAs overseas that were not that skilled, which led me to, ruining my agency in the long term. I was only relying on one channel for lead generation, and it was very, very unpredictable. My team was not in sync at all with one another, and there was a lot of miscommunication. We were missing deadlines for clients' work, and that would just ruin the customer experience. I used to absolutely hate opening Slack because there was so much chaos that would unfold, and I was just not ready to deal with it, and everything was all over the place and chaotic. I was working 14-hour days to fulfill client demands and just to keep my business afloat, which was not fun, and it was just making me miserable and not enjoy what I was doing, even though I was making money. And the business was not running without me being 100% involved. And that was really, really annoying, because I literally had to work every day just to even keep the business going. And my service was not up to par with my competitors. That is something I came to realize when I realized how I was doing things wrong. So, I realized, I remember just thinking to myself, I'm not as good as some of the other email agencies out there. So, I went through all these struggles that most of you, if you are watching, can probably relate to. And this is the day, July 29th, 2021. I used to live in this condo. Everything changed for me and my agency that day. And that was because I had this moment of awareness where I realized that I was not really trying to operate my dream agency, but I was chasing success that I saw my friend have with his agency, right? So I had a friend who was scaling his agency and signing clients very frequently, almost to a point where it was ridiculous. In my mind, I thought, okay, that is what I need to do, and that is what success looks like, right? So I started chasing his results and the way he was running his agency. Whatever he was doing, I was doing the exact same thing, because he was a good friend of mine. I was hiring similar people. I was having the exact systems. I was literally pretty much following his model, right? And that actually led me to hate my agency and burn out. So I had to sit down and ask myself, what does my dream agency look like? If I had an agency and it was the perfect business, what does it look like, right? So I sat down and I said to myself that, I want to get to a point in my agency where I sign clients for the agency without directly being involved in the sales process. So I want to find out that we signed someone via a Stripe notification, right? And I wanted to build a business where clients are happy, my team is strong, and I thrive by focusing on my strengths and just growth, right? And once I was clear on what that dream agency looked like, I knew I just had to reverse engineer my actions to get there, right? It will take some time, but all I had to do was just reverse engineer if I had clarity on what I really truly wanted. And implementing the 3 S's that I will cover a little bit more down the line in this video, I was able to actually make that change. And a year later, I was running my dream agency, right? We were signing clients in our business without me having to be directly involved in the sales process, where in the past, every client we signed, they knew me because I was directly involved. Now, this was 2 years ago. I was at a wine farm in Cape Town, and I found out through my phone and Stripe notifications and my business partner notifying me that we signed a client, right? Because I have built out a process where I'm really not involved anymore. I haven't ran an email in forever, and the quality of our service has only gotten better. Like, our clients love us. We even have clients that have stayed with us for 3 years, and they have increased their retainer from 3,500 to 6,000. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And they love us. They're not never gonna let us go. And we charge more and get higher quality clients because we provide a better service than others now, right? You can see here we're getting paid, oh my God, sometimes 11,500 for a retainer. I just said, oh my God, because I guess it showed the information. I'm gonna have to tell my editor to blur that name. And also, guys, I work with my best friends I grew up with, and we run this business together. And we have a solid team that is happy to work at MintAv and excited to grow together, right? So all I did was follow the 3 S's in order to get my dream agency. And before I even go into the 3 S's and exactly what it is, let's just briefly share like how I even got here. And I'm not going to bore you with my life story. I'm just going to give you guys a quick recap on my evolution as an agency owner. But, first I started off as a student, just like everyone else, just learning, understanding the skill. I had no client set. I was just purely in the learning more mode, just understanding how this whole industry and the service works. Then I became a freelancer where I was skilled, and now I was getting paid to do the work. And, I was still trading time for money, but I was making money. That was the good part, right? And I also realized that the scalability is not there if I don't increase my workload. So if I want to make more, I got to work more. There was that. Then I turned into a generalist where I was doing kind of everything in my business. I was making good money, but my growth was limited because I was working in the business, not on the business. Even though I might have had like 1 or 2 VAs, I was just not focusing on the 20%, right? That'd be the high impact task, the highest leverage task like we talk about. And, I didn't have that until I became a true CEO, where I had systems in place, where I had a team in place, where business was running efficiently, even if I was not there, right? I was just focusing on my strengths and focusing on growth. Just to kind of show you guys the evolution. Being a student, I started with drop shipping just like everyone else. I wanted to make money, and running my drop shipping stores, I learned how to do email marketing, and I realized I can sell it, right? This is one of my old dropshipping store. This is actually the first ever dollar I made online. That was the name of my dropshipping store, which I named my agency now, Mint Ave. My first ever client I got from, meeting this kid when I was doing dropshipping. He was making like $15,000 a day. I was super broke. So I was like, yo, I want to charge you, $2,200 to write your emails. It will help you a lot. Those emails made him 12,000. And I was like, oh my God, this is, I had like a light bulb moment where after that client, because I'm like, man, I can do this for anyone. And it's such a win-win situation. It's a no-brainer, right? So from that day on, I went full emails, no drop shipping, full-time emails. And I started becoming an authority in the space. I started scaling my business. I started going to events. I started hosting events, talking about email marketing. And I was just getting clients from my Instagram, just being known as the email guy. Just from this guy, just as a one-man team with a VA, I was making like $70,000 a month with one VA, right? And I did scale a little too fast, and I didn't know how to scale properly. So there was a lot of chaos, and just the way I was doing things and the things I learned, it was just not the right way to do things. I hired cheap. I did not know how to manage a team. I had literally no systems in place, and I almost didn't get this right for 2 years. And 2 years, honestly, I was just kind of not running it as efficiently as it could have run, to a point where I almost quit my agency, right? Because all these easy decisions that I was taking for years and years, it caught up to me, and I was just not enjoying, I was just not enjoying growing this business. It was so chaotic. I was just like, there was so much mess that I just wanted to quit. And I genuinely got to a point where I was just ready to quit, because I'm just like, I'm just not enjoying where this is going. And I kind of rebuilt this from scratch with my partners, because I was about to quit. And then I hit up my students, who are also my good friends, that were starting their own email agency. And I was like, take some of my, email clients. Then I was like, you know what? I have some amazing staff as well. You should hire them as well. I have these amazing systems. You should take them as well. And it got to a point where I'm like, let's do this. You guys focus on this. I focus on that. And we'll just partner up together. And we pretty much started from scratch together and rebuilt this agency, because, some clients stayed, but you know what I mean? Like, when we make this drastic change, like, we kind of had to start from scratch, and I had to take all the knowledge I learned from all these previous years to rebuild it in a proper way, right? And from then to now, we've scaled MintAv to 7 figures again. And, we were getting amazing client results. We're signing amazing clients. We genuinely run a business with amazing company culture. I've met my team that is around the world, and they love my business partners, right? They love the culture that we have here. They love MintAv, right? And with my partners, we're able to scale to 7 figures while avoiding all the problems that I went through early on when I was first running my agency, which I'll talk about. Again, guys, I am running my dream agency. I can say that with a straight face and just a smile, that I am running my dream agency. And, talking about how I scaled too fast and, just how that is a thing, I want to talk about before rebuilding with my partners, how I scaled a little too fast in the beginning, right? So at the end of 2020, I scaled my agency way too fast. It overwhelmed my operations. My service quality dropped. It led to client churn and just internal chaos all over. And it took me months and months to recover. And the burnout left me genuinely disengaged with my own business. And I was just not enjoying what I was doing. You know what I mean? I even wrote a thread on it back in the days as well. You guys can check it out on Twitter. And something to understand is that with scale comes chaos. And there is such a thing as scaling too fast. And with scale comes chaos. When you scale too fast, your whole operations is overwhelmed and it leads to long-term debt in your business. And when we're using the word debt here, we're not just talking about monetary debt, right? There is work debt, there's fulfillment debt, there's systems debt, there's service debt, right? Not only is your fulfillment going to suffer, but the quality of your work will too, and your clients will be unhappy and will not want to work with you. And the reason all this chaos comes about is because there's such a thing called the second order consequences, right? So the second order consequences are the ripple effects of a decision. So for example, let's say you lose a client and it might seem minor at the beginning, but it might lead to damaged reputation, low team morale, and financial strain. And though just that one, like they call it the butterfly effect, one decision leads to many things, right? I think it was that if a butterfly just flaps its wing and it turns into a flipping hurricane or something like that. I don't know. Listen, man, I dropped out. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't even tell you what that's all about. But every decision you make has a long-term impact, both directly and indirectly, what I was trying to say. So when I was scaling too fast, so many things were happening so fast at a point where it led to so many second order, third order, fourth order consequences where, a lot of things happen just all at once and there's just so much chaos. You know what I mean? And going through this made me realize that I was doing things wrong and that I never, never want to do that again. And that if I have to be there actively for my business to function, I don't have a business. I actually have a high paying job, and I'm trying to be a business owner, not a high paid, glorified freelancer. And unless you want to do that, that's completely fine. But I wanted to take the route of being a business owner and an entrepreneur, not someone whose monetary income is tied to how much hours he works, right? And if the only method of growing is for you to take on more work, scale will be hard for you and you will stay stagnant, right? What you want to do is actually leverage your knowledge and capital to make things happen for you while you focus on what matters and growing your business. And a big part of that is understanding sustainability and how to succeed long term, right? Not just for the short term. As you guys can see, focusing on the short term sometimes, yes, you get some growth, but it can come crashing down. And what you want to focus on is doing things in a way where it's just sustainable for the long term, right? It's being hyper aware and getting clear on what your dream agency looks like. I want to run my business. I don't want my business to run me. My goal shouldn't be just money. It should be total freedom and fulfillment, operating a business that you can be truly, truly proud of. I am proud of Mint. I love showing off the things that we do at Mint App. You know what I mean? And that can only happen when you build your business around your life and not your life around your business. And again, scaling with the 3 S's, this is something I came up with around that time when I was just going through so much chaos. I came to the conclusion that this is what you need in order to scale. If you have the service and systems and you don't have the sales, you won't have growth. If you have systems and sales, but your service sucks, your business will be churning. If you have the sales and service, but you have no proper systems, there will be chaos. You need all three in place to run your dream agency, because I've been through all these different phases where I was missing one or the other, and it just leads to an agency you don't want to run, right? And we'll get to the 3 S's of what the exact, 3 S's are, but the first S is service. So you operate a service-based business, and to become the best and get the best results in the market, you need to have elite service and elite customer experience, right? Systems, you need to have procedures and process in place, designed to achieve a specific result. And this is very important in your business to make sure that everything is processed and everything is working together for the overall machine, which we'll talk more about in a bit. And sales is like literally the lifeblood of your business, right? If we're not selling, if we're not signing clients, why does our business even exist? So the 3 S's of scale, this is what you need in place: service, systems, and sales in order to get your dream agency. Let's talk about service and some of the things I fixed with service and some of the struggles I was going through, right? So one day I sat down and I asked myself a question. So if I was my ideal client profile, if I was the ideal audience that my agency worked with, right? Would I work with myself knowing all these other agencies that I know exist? And the true answer was no. I knew that these other agencies that existed as well, they were better than me. You know what I'm saying? They're way, way better than me. So I knew I had to focus on customer experience and make a change. At the end of the day, we run a service-based business. The goal is to provide a great service that gets results. And I heard Jeff Bezos say this, which is to focus on your clients, not competitors, as your clients pay you. And even the quote right here by my man Jeff, he said, the number one thing that has made us successful by far is the obsessive compulsive focus on the customer, right? So I knew I had to hyper obsess on the client and make this my number one focus, because this is the cornerstone of why my business exists, is to serve my clients, right? And if you guys have actually like sat down to identify businesses, you'll realize that most of these businesses have horrible client experience, right? Like, you putting some effort into your business will make you stand out, because most businesses just exist to make money. They genuinely don't care about your clients. So I knew if I focused on my clients, I will already stand out, because most people are not willing to do so. And as we scaled, guys, what I realized is that, before I started focusing on this, like, our client experience had super declined, right? Our client experience was declining as I signed clients, and as I started hiring people. Since we had no proper systems, it overwhelmed everyone. We were missing deadlines. The work was not up to standards, and it was just so chaotic, unorganized, all over the place. Like, like, I literally had to work 14-hour days to just make sure we can get like just get it done. You know what I mean? And it was not fun running this business. And eventually, of course, when it's like this and you can't hyper focus on a client, like, clients end up leaving because of this. So I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had to make a change. So that's why, I started focusing on client experience, and that's why I'm like, what, results first. I need to get my clients results, because this is the core of why my business exists, because people pay me because they have a problem. They're looking for a solution, and I happen to be the bridge between the problem that they have and the solution that they're looking for. And if you can't provide that solution, your clients will go ahead and leave you. Plus, it will tarnish your reputation. And in this online world, guys, our reputation is like one of the only things that we have, right? If it gets stained, it's gonna stay that way for a while. And as you can see here, recent results from my agency, Mintav here, we made $5 million for this client in 6 months. Legendary stuff, you know what I'm saying? And this is why our clients love us, because we genuinely get them results. As you can see, from campaigns, we made them with $3.1 million, from flows, $1.9 million. Another thing as well, when it came to improving my service, is making the client experience and being customer focused part of the company culture, right? So I even remember I had a call with Iman Godzi in 2020. And when we talked about my agency, he told me to focus on company culture. And at that time, I didn't really understand what he was trying to say. I just kind of dismissed it like, yeah, whatever. But when I started managing a team, I didn't realize how important company culture was. So, I had made this document where I kind of just outlined our mission, all of our values and our standards. And one of them was being customer centric, right? And letting my team know the importance of valuing our clients, serving our clients, and looking to always go above and beyond and improving, right? And when everyone in the team understands the importance of this, and I am making it a point to let them know how important it is, everyone in the team acts accordingly, right? It becomes a culture. People are just going out of their way to always looking to improve the client's experience. You know what I mean? So this is another change I made that genuinely helped our business super heavy. Now let's talk about systems, right? That was for service. That's some of the things that we did for service to improve our service systems. I realized at a point that I can only do so much. When I scaled, I was wearing lots of hats, and it was just a little too much for me. I fell out of love for my business and almost quit because of this. And I knew I had to learn how to systemize properly and work with other people, because I can't push the cart, manage it, lead the front. Like, I can't wear all these hats and think that I can do it 10 out of 10 for every single one of them. I am going to burn out. And it didn't change until I came into what I call systems thinking, right? Where I started viewing my business as, a system, like a machine, right? But all the parts have to work together for the machine to work, right? Where before, I feel like I was the business, I was the machine. I changed it to realize, I am just part of the machine. I am just one of the gears, one of the parts of this overall machine that exists, right? I'm just a part of the business. I am not the business. Eventually, even this role that I play, I can be replaced and it will still be moving. You know what I mean? And I also realized how every other part of the business needs to work together for the overall business to work. Your client experience is going to affect your sales. Your systems are going to affect your client experience. Everything is interconnected, right? It's not independent to one thing. So you thinking that you just need to sign more clients is not the right way to look at the business, because that's not the only thing that's going to make the change in your business. it wasn't until I started creating systems to make sure everything's working together, and even processes, that I actually, had an organized business where I was able to handle scale, right? I started learning about SOPs. I started making them for my team so they know exactly what the standards are, exactly how I want them to do things, right? Started building automations so things were getting done without manual input. We started, building systems in ClickUp, Notion, Slack to keep things organized so everyone understands exactly how to do things in our business, because we want consistency in how things are done, right? How we did something once is how we want to do it all the time. We don't want it to be random. We want everything to be predictable. And making this difference, making this change has made such a difference in our business, right? And another thing that we're doing is communication congruency. One of the biggest hurdle I had to get over was making sure that the communication is congruent between our team and also our clients, because a lot of problems occur in service-based relationship just through miscommunication. It's not even usually service quality, the results, whatever. It's genuinely about miscommunication, right? Same with team members. Sometimes things get delayed, there's issues with delivery because of miscommunication. So I had to make sure I built systems in place, and I made it a point to make communication part of our standards to make sure that this never occurs, right? I made over communication a part of our culture and build systems around it to keep it consistent. I build systems so reporting gets done consistently. I made systems so, people are like, our clients are always getting updated. Even at a point where, there was a client once when we're scaling, their work was getting neglected, and I was able to solve that problem and make sure that they don't charge back or whatever, just by communicating with them that, hey, apologize for this. I'm just going through struggles while I'm scaling. I'm just learning how to manage team right now. And they yo, completely understand. Just you wanted an update, right? So see what I mean? Even though we made such a bad mistake of not having the best service and not, kind of neglecting them, just by communicating what was going on, I was able to save that relationship. So you want to have amazing communication and make it part of your culture. Now let's talk about sales. I built all of my businesses that you've ever seen off my personal brand, right? So after drop shipping, every single businesses of mine has been built for my personal brand. My agency, my consulting business, my events business, all scaled to 6 and 7 figures organically through my personal brand. And my reach is not even that big, right? So when I see owners neglect personal branding, it genuinely makes me laugh, because I'm like, yo, you don't understand the power of having a personal brand. Some of the biggest companies in the world, they have personal brands. Tesla, Elon Musk, you know what I mean? Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Like, personal branding is one of the highest ROI thing you can do as a business owner. However, I was reliant on this one channel, right? For signing clients and getting clients, which limited to the leads I got, which limited to the type of clients I could actually attract and get, right? And it was also hard to measure the amount of leads that would come through the personal brand, as it was random. I couldn't really measure it. And it was a good source of way of getting clients, but it wasn't predictable for us. So I knew we had to make some changes. And the changes that we made was that we did not just rely on one channel. We decided to expand into outbound as well. My business partner set up cold outbound emails, cold outbound DMs, LinkedIn outreach, Upwork outreach. At a point, we even did cold calling. We just tried everything that we can. We even made content in other channels as well to start attracting clients. And now that we had omnipresence and could get clients from many different channels instead of just one, it made it so our pipeline was more full. We are also attract higher level clients, right? So now our business was successful off my personal brand, but doing this as well and getting all these other channels, it made all the difference. And for us, the biggest game changer was cold emails and doing outreach on Upwork as well. Building out a sales process. So as I told you guys, number one thing I wanted to do for my agency was to remove myself and from the sales process, as I hated taking on calls. So what I did was we made a plan to have my business partner do all the sales calls. We made a little plan to transition him to do all this. We organized our CRM. We hired setters. We built a proper sales team that was bringing in leads consistently and just, making sure that they're getting qualified and our pipeline was actually getting full. And making this change is what has allowed us to start signing corporate clients that we still work with 3 years later that are literally telling us to charge more. You know what I mean? So building out a sales process, tracking everything, having the data, that's when you can start actually, reverse engineering. Once you have the data, you guys just need to do math in order to know what you need to do in order to get to where you want to go, right? If we have to send this amount of emails, it costs us this much, and we're signing X amount of clients, okay, to do 10x that, we need to 10x everything, or we need to at least test it out to see how it feels like when we actually increase the input, or you know what I mean? So it's all about just having a data and being organized. That helped a lot. And also me just getting away from calls because I hated taking calls and I knew it was not my 20%, my highest leverage task. And I will say, even though I said, I was relying on personal brand and, I'm not really talking down on it. Like, the best leads to this day still come from personal branding, right? So last year, I compared the clients that we got from our outbound efforts to those from my personal brand. And the fulfillment team confirmed to me that personal brand clients were easier to work with, while cold email, Upwork, LinkedIn clients were more difficult, right? When we just did the data, right? Late payments, complaints, unrealistic deadlines, bad attitude. And we still had systems to make sure that, we were able to help them and get results. But personal brand just clearly attracted the best clients. Now, guys, this is just the overall thing, right? Like, at the end of the day, we still got amazing clients from cold outbound, and we still got, sometimes shit clients from personal branding. But overall, we realized that personal branding just got us better clients, and they were just easier to work with. And it's genuinely a no-brainer to start. And if you just do it right, you don't even need a big following account. Like, one of my clients that I work closely with, he's closed over 12,000 in monthly recurring revenue just from Twitter, that has under 300 followers. You know what I mean? And I just literally told him to implement some simple things, and he's able to close that much with 300 followers. Like, you need to do it. It's literally free money. You need to do it. So now that I went over the 3 S's, I want you guys to think about your business, and I want you to rank these right here, right? So what is your service out of 10? What are your systems out of 10? What are your sales effort out of 10? Do you have all 3 of these in place? Or what's missing? What do you need to hyper focus on to actually get to a point where you have your dream agency, get to the sweet spot right here, right? So I want you guys to do this exercise and figure out, what you rank out of 10 in this, and start thinking of how you can go ahead and fix this. And also in the evolution, where are you guys? Are you still a freelancer? Are you a generalist? What do you need to do to move to a CEO? If that's what you want, right? Because maybe not everyone wants this. I think some people are just better off being freelancers. You know what I mean? And what you got to understand at the end of the day, if you do want to be a business owner and not a freelancer, is that the time is your most important asset out there. Once you spend time, you can never get it back. It's one of the most scarce resources out there, right? So when your business grows, your time becomes more valuable as you have a lot more responsibilities and things to focus on. You can't be spending this precious resource on tasks that don't bring your business forward and progress your business. So as a CEO, you need to be very smart about how you allocate your time and resources. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about the Pareto principle, but it basically explains that 20% of the things that you do drive 80% of your results, right? And as a business owner, your focus should be to focus on those high impact, high leverage tasks that push your business forward, right? Anything outside of that is a waste of your time. And what you also got to realize is that the 20% changes based on where you are in your business. Because, when I first started writing emails, doing sales call, prospecting was a, 20% task for me. Now it's no longer that, right? So as you evolve, your 20% changes. So it's about getting clarity on what that 20% is, and making sure that you're focusing on this while you delegate, eliminate, or automate the other 80%, because they still need to get done as well, right? And I will say, in this evolution right here, where you don't want to be is, you don't want to be a generalist, because trading time for money caps your earning potential, right? You only have so much time. And if you just want to, you can just be a freelancer at that point. Why be a generalist where you want to run a business, but you're doing it in a way where you're wearing all the hats? You're not leveraging your knowledge and your capital to actually grow and focus on your strengths and just growth. You know what I mean? Focusing on what matters. You need to be working on the business, not in it. You know what I mean? If you want to just work in the business, then just be a freelancer and just get a couple of clients. But if you want to be a business owner, you do not want to be a generalist, right? You want to focus on the 20% task, not the 80% task that stifles growth. And what I always like to say is, you want to run your business, you don't want it to let it run you, right? So you want to get very clear on what your dream agency is, why you started this, why you even wanted to, and start working towards making this fun while you grow, right? Focus on your strengths. It does not have to be miserable, guys. I'm telling you, I have seen many business owners come to this mindset where they think they have to be miserable and they have to shackle themselves to their business to succeed. But that is not the goal. You can do it while staying sane, and also just making sure that you're focusing on, your strengths and growth. That is a possibility. That is a thing. So what I want you to do, guys, from this video, the next steps is, go ahead and define what your dream agency looks like in details, right? Get very clear on what your dream agency looks like, and audit your time so you can see what time you're spending doing the right thing and the wrong thing, right? And for some of you guys that are already, own email businesses or copywriting businesses or agencies in general, I made a free training on scaling past 25,000 a month profit below. So go ahead and check that out. Book a call below as well if you want my help scaling your business. I have over 100 case studies. I have more resources in the description as well. But to the point, on anyone that wants my help scaling their business, if you want me to come in and implement the things that I know about scaling email marketing and copywriting businesses, I want you to go ahead and book a call below. My case studies speak for themselves. I will help you, go from a freelancer to a proper business owner. I'll help you actually be a CEO and not trade time for money, actually leverage your knowledge and capital to build something great while you focus on your strengths and goal. Like I said, guys, my case studies speak for themselves. You guys can check my YouTube. You guys can check my Instagram. I have some of the greatest case studies out there when it comes to email marketers and copywriters. But anyways, guys, if you guys need anything else, my Instagram is at @RajahSplash. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be making so many more videos like this where I put so much effort into this. As you guys can tell, I put a lot of effort into this. So hope you guys do enjoy this video. And if you guys need anything else from me, just message me on Instagram at RajahSplash. Book a call below if you do want my help scaling your business. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.